Have you ever wanted to make your own podcast? Anchor can help. It's free. The creation tools allow you to record and edit right off your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. It can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from it too, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Wow. Again, I don't have a problem with it.
Right. Well, she's 21 right now, so she can do what she wants, but don't keep it.
Exactly.
It's like
keep it from me, because if something happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that would be a very huge shock to me if something happened and I find out after something has happened that she's not even in Maryland. She's all the way in fucking Washington State.
Washington State. Yeah.
I mean, if my daughter's kid, anything happens, that's like super serious, you best believe I'll be there some way, somehow. I'll get there.
But if you don't know where she's at, right.
But I don't know where she's at. How could I do that? As parents, our job is to protect our children.
Yep.
No matter how old they are, even if they're over 18.
They kind of have to meet us halfway, don't they?
But she did sit down with me, just like she did that day in the car where she told me that, I'm proper, and she said, oh, Dad, I didn't want to hear your mouth, telling me I'm doing the wrong things and this and that. I'm like, no, sweetheart, no, this is your life and you have to live your life.
Yeah.
I may come off as being judgmental or overbearing, but it's only because I love you and I want the best for you.
Yeah, that's awesome that you talk to her like that, because she's an adult, and it's hard for a parent. Like, I think seeing Shayla being 10 years old now and picturing her in Natalia's shoes, like, being in that situation, I don't know, man. I mean, I probably will say the same, but inside I'll be like, man, my little girl, But so I commend you for that, bro. That's awesome to take that stance.
If I was a crackhead, I'd be like, oh, hell to the fuck no. I'd be banging out on her door and shit, dragging her by her hair if need be.
Right.
But he's not.
Right.
He's an excellent guy.
Paul's a good guy. Okay, cool.
And I'd be proud to call him my
son. So we don't have to go Will Smith and Martin Lawrence on him?
Let me just put this disclosure. If they ever decide that they want to get married and, settle down together, let me put that disclosure. I'm not being overbearing or judgmental or telling you guys you got to get married and all that shit. I'm not. But if that did happen, I would be proud, as I am now, even, to call him my son.
Nice. Well, there you go. There you go, Paul. Buy that ring.
It was a judgmental, overbearing side of me now, bro, giving you unsolicited advice. Have those conversations with your daughter now so that she doesn't hide shit from you later.
No, I actually do. Like I said, I'm very. I said this on the "You Don't Matter," one of the episodes there. I'm very open with my kids, and I'm very upfront. You know what I mean? And I remember saying this to Judge, and Judge Masterpiece was like, "Yeah, but you're not gonna sit down with your son and say, hey, son, I know you're 7, but when you go to a strip club, you're gonna need more than just ones." You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was hilarious because a lot of people don't know me, man. I go to a certain extreme sometimes. I may actually say that to him right now. I mean, I don't, as a joke, you know what I'm saying? And he'll just look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? But to me, that's the kind of humor I got now, man. I find that hilarious, And so I just want people to try to accept me the way I am, just as I accept them the way they are. And that's how I'm going to wrap this whole thing up, because go ahead and take a breather, bro, if you don't mind. And when we come back, we were supposed to have Rob on the show, Rob Tehran. I'm not sure he's ready.
Has he texted or anything?
No, he hasn't told me anything anymore. So I'm going to find out what's going on with him on the break. And then, if not, we'll just go ahead and continue and get to the badass flick and just pure shit part of it, because I have a movie on that one. Do you have a movie this week?
I actually do, but it's not a movie; it's a series. Again,
you gonna talk about Hannibal? You gonna talk about Hannibal?
No, no, bro. I didn't finish watching Hannibal because my wife, Wanda, she got into that shit because she likes horror, gruesome shit, and her face was just glued to the TV. Usually, when we watch TV together, she's one of those annoying TV watchers, that's like multitasking and says if she's
not really not paying attention. Gotcha.
Yeah, she's on Facebook. She's playing her little video games. She's doing laundry. She's marching back and forth in the house. Miss it, honey. You're gonna miss it. Okay. Shut the fuck up already. That's how she talks to me. Watching TV.
We'll give Wanda
certain movies
because that's funny.
Really capture her attention, and Hannibal was one of those movies.
Oh, okay.
I mean, from the moment that it started, with the gruesome killing and shit, her eyes were glued to the motherfucker. So, I get up at 2:00. Let me rephrase that. I start getting up at 2:00 in the morning to leave the house around 3:15 to get to work, and so I dozed off.
Well, you're a big manager now at the Walmart. So
I would be a big manager. It's like, I've learned a lot from my dad too.
Yeah.
With that statement that you just made, I've learned a lot from my dad too.
Yeah, for sure.
Titles are nice. They're titles. It doesn't matter what title you're in or what position you are in life. The fellow man is still a man, just like you.
That's right.
So I don't think
I got something to say on.
I
got something to say on that too, but I'm gonna save it till after break about the titles and stuff like that. Okay. All right, let's go to break right now.
Okay.
And we'll come back off the cuff.
We are back from our break, and we're going to try to continue on. Unfortunately, our guest speaker, who is going to speak about some financial aspects regarding investments and cryptocurrencies,
Bitcoin.
MIA. So we apologize. We're not going to be able to bring this segment of our show to you today. But perhaps maybe at a later time, he might be able to revisit joining us as a guest and speaking about the cryptocurrencies and the investment strategies that he's come to realize works for him. So, without any further ado, bro, man, you said you had something to say regarding the statement of a man is just a man.
Yeah, and I believe that. Like when you said titles are cool, right? But you're just, when it comes down to it, man, we are human. We are men and women that just, we need to learn to respect other people. And I always have this thing where when I'm somewhere I worked in a lot of top secret government agencies, if you will. And I always, and this kind of goes back to Fred Garcia in a way, because he was a janitor, right? And a lot of people I noticed didn't pay attention to him very much. I think we formed a great bond with him, and maybe it had a little to do with what I think now. I always have this saying, I tell people all the time, I'm a person that treats, how people treat the CEO of a company, I treat the janitor in that same way. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And I've always, I feel proud of saying that because, and it goes back to probably my mom, always invited people over to the house, treated people with a lot of respect that maybe they didn't even earn yet. You know what I mean? And I know people say,
and dignity,
right? It was with dignity, making them feel as such they are, as a person, as a human being, as a good, just and sometimes it inspires people, I think, to do better in life, even if they're not that good of a person at the moment. You know what I mean? Because I believe everybody can fix themselves to be a better person. All you got to do, and I have friends that say this, is you got to just be better than you were the day before. Just be better than that person. And you don't have to compare yourself to the next person. You don't have to, like, I look at, for instance, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, right? And I like the way he is. I like that he is up there now. He built his empire, if you will. Like, he's a big movie star now, right? But he remembers where he started from. And he's that same kind of person. And he always has this saying that he says, it's very nice to be important, but it's very important to always be nice. You know what I mean? And I tend to kind of agree with that. I could be a jerk sometimes to people, but I think that if I'm being a jerk, usually it's because something is sparking that in me. And it may be the person that needs to ask themselves, is it me? Is he being a jerk because of me? So, and people need to do that. Like, I do that sometimes. I don't make it about myself, but I just kind of go, let me make sure I'm not the person that they're mad at, and still try to help them get out of that situation. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that I pretty much treat the janitor the same way I would treat the CEO, and that's very true. I have people that back that up. So,
Oh, I totally agree with you on that. From the CEO all the way down to the person who cleans the toilets.
And sometimes they're even better
I
people
am
than the
grateful
CEO.
for the CEO.
So,
I'm,
in fact,
I'm
most
grateful
times.
for the CEO to be able to give me a paycheck, but I'm also equally grateful for the guy that cleans the toilets
Right,
to give me a clean toilet to shit
right.
on.
And they're people too, you know what I mean?
And
So,
if I look, there's no difference.
yeah,
Exactly. And those people there, like Fred
I'm glad we
Garcia,
had a chance
he
to
did
meet
his
Fred.
job very well. He took his job very
Oh, yeah,
seriously,
for sure. Superintendent.
and he did it, every time 350% above and beyond what was actually called
For
for.
sure. Yeah, he kept that school
And
nice and
then
clean.
aside from that, he also, took notice to a pair of young guys
A couple of
aimlessly
fools
wandering,
like us.
you know, right, and with his overbearing and judgmental side of it,
But he did it he
he
did it
gave
in
us
a classy
advice
way
that
though.
has touched us for the rest of our lives.
He did it in a good way though, man. Where we can laugh together. He always, like, he didn't see us as just kids, but he saw us as like
Mm-hmm.
guys who were growing up who are going to become men like him. And he just, we're very fortunate, I think, to have met him and known him. I hope he's doing okay, if unless he's, gone now. I hope not.
I hope not.
Because we were, I think we
Matter
were
of
like, what,
fact, you should look
16,
him up.
15 when we met him.
Giving him lots of credits, lots of shout outs in this segment. And um,
Yeah,
I would love to be able to tell him,
yeah, for
thank
sure.
you, Fred, for giving us that very powerful saying that we used to joke about all the time.
Right.
That throughout life, I have come to realize that that is a very valuable piece of advice, unsolicited advice.
Right.
that
Right. I know.
that we
And it's kind of
we have.
ironic, right? That we're talking about not giving unsolicited, but we actually learned a lot from unsolicited advice. So maybe that'll, that
Oh yeah,
that comes full circle, I guess. But
yep. The yin and the
yeah, the yin and the yang. So, do you have
yang comes
a
full circle.
badass flick or just pure shit type thing going on here?
Well,
Did you see anything?
yeah, and again, you can find it on
A series?
Netflix.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's called In the Dark.
In the dark. And what's
Yeah,
that about?
the main character is blind. The main character is blind. Damn it, I already forgot her name. God damn it. Anyway, she's blind and rather on the annoying side, you know. And basically, this show, she gets herself into trouble. She gets herself into trouble because of a friend, and it kind of displays throughout the show how they became friends. But basically, it starts off with her going to see this friend in a dark alley, which really doesn't matter because she's blind anyway. Um, and Tyson is her friend's name and the character's name, right? And Tyson is a drug dealer working a corner, or in this case, an alleyway in Chicago, you know. But she goes to visit him every night, and he takes a moment, a cigarette with her seeing eye dog. And then one evening, she goes to him and, stumbles upon his body. He's dead. Thank you. And so the whole series is about her finding justice for Tyson.
Oh, okay.
Now Tyson's cousin is also in the show because he's Tyson's boss.
All right.
And so on and so forth. So
okay.
So
in
the
the dark.
plot thickens in the dark. Yeah. That's what it's called, In the Dark. And so the plot thickens as she starts to uncover, connections of people, like Darnell, which is Tyson's cousin, keeps telling her, to stay away. Tyson is fine. He just went off with some chick somewhere. He's out of town, stuff like that. But she uncovers that indeed he was murdered.
Wow.
He then starts to open up his eyes and realize maybe my cousin was murdered, and if so, who did it? And so the whole plot, takes over that way. And then somehow she gets mixed up with money laundering for the drug people that Tyson used to work for, and then transporting drugs and all kinds of stuff. It's a really interesting show.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
But she has an annoying personality where she is overbearing and judgmental.
Is she? And she's blind.
Yes. And she's blind.
Wow,
yes.
That'd be interesting.
And I believe throughout the storyline, her mom is judgmental and overbearing, so maybe that's where she got it from.
Yeah, because being blind doesn't alter your personality, right? I mean, but we could, I guess, but you would think that it'd be being humble, not judgmental. But okay, but that sounds pretty good, man. How many stars do you give it out of? I mean, it's a series, but
out of 5, it's a series. I would give it a 4 because I'm still watching it.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Much to my luck,
very close to badass.
My wife also got it. Yeah, very close to badass. Yeah, and my wife Wanda, she did advance on it, but I think after Hannibal, she kind of met me halfway, where she let me go back and rewatch stuff because the problem is as I go off to work, like with Hannibal, I went to sleep, I woke up watching it still.
Yeah.
I went off to work, I came back, she was still at it, glued to the TV. She was already on season 3 halfway through,
Wow.
So I was totally lost at what happened. Hannibal was already in Italy, all of a sudden. So I'm like, okay, so what happened between, the farm silo where they found all these dead bodies that he sold somebody together, with another body, and now that he's in Italy. Oh, honey, you just have to watch it. Well, how can I watch it? I'm lost. So that kind of turned me off to Hannibal.
Yeah. Oh man.
I didn't see the full thing there. It's one of those shows you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Little 30-second clip will fuck it up for you.
Wow.
You get lost.
Wow, that's
and with In the Dark, it was the same thing. Now, my wife, like I said, she's one of those annoying TV watchers, multitasking on every fucking thing else, right? So, and then she says that, yeah, I've seen that episode. Okay, so how did this happen? So we went back to where I left off, and I said, "Well, did you see this?" "Oh no, I didn't see that." so we've been rewatching it together. She's been rewatching it with me, quote unquote. And we're still in it. But
So 4 out
I
of
have
5.
been a little tired. I tend to
Yeah,
doze off on it.
yeah, you got a lot going on, man. I know, but
Yeah.
it's 4 out of 5 stars. That's close to badass flick, man. That's good, or badass series in this case.
Yeah.
So I guess I can tell my movie now. So I saw this movie, and I have the
I know it's been itching your tongue since we started. Huh?
no. Hey, man, that one sounded good that you just mentioned, though. I'm gonna check that out since I got Netflix. But
Yeah, but you know that you wanted to be overbearing and say, yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no,
motherfucker.
no, no.
Anyway,
Hey,
hope you die.
anyway, hope you die. Go to hell. Yeah, yeah. I remember that comedian.
Yeah, go to hell. I hope
but but hey,
that was a thing that we used to do in high school days.
yeah, high school days, man. I still remember. I don't remember the name of the comedian, but I remember that comedian, and we would always say that to each other after we said anyway. Oh, I know. Anyway, hope you die. Go to hell. Yeah. But but I saw this movie. I have Fire Stick, by the way, and
Okay.
so I have this movie thing where I could see movies, and it's called The Tax Collector, the movie I saw. And I know you guys all know Shia LaBeouf or LaBeouf. Said his name wrong. Shia LaBeouf. Do you know Shia LaBeouf?
I do not.
Have you seen
You know
Transformers?
me, man. I
I
don't
know.
retain
I
movies.
know.
I retain.
Have you seen?
Okay, Transformers.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
which
first
one? 1,
Transformer.
2, 3, 10, 15?
I know. I know. I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay.
So the first Transformers had him when he was chasing that girl. When he was looking, that girl Megan Fox was the girl that played the nice looking chick in the movie, and he had the car that used to play the songs, and he asked her to give her a ride. Do you remember that?
I think I have to revisit Transformers now.
By the way, I think we're going to be cut off in like 8
Huh.
minutes from Anchor. So
Well, go ahead.
I'm going to wrap
Continue.
this up. I'm
I'll
going to
Google
say,
her ass later.
okay, so he played a goon, basically. A goon is a person who gets used to kind of like a rough this guy up for me kind of thing. So his name was Creeper. His nickname was Creeper, and basically, he played a goon to the main character, who's played by a not so well known actor named Bobby Soto, and it's a 2020 film, and it's about two enforcers who work for a crime lord who bump into an old rival in the process. And it gets messy at that point. Like, the old rival wants to fight them, and they're like, we have a mission to go to, you know what I mean? And George Lopez is actually in this movie, bro. He plays the main character's uncle. Okay, Theo.
Huh.
Right? I don't know his
Okay.
name, but they call him Theo. And so the movie was
Okay.
okay. It was an okay movie. It was good. I would say that I think Shia LaBeouf was better than everybody else in the movie, because he made it a little more bearable to watch because of that. Like he's just a better actor than the rest of them. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's almost a badass flick because just the fact his character in it, I think, should have been the main character. His name is Creeper, and I like that name. And I think he looked so cool in like a vest and a tie and a shirt, you know what I mean, and his slacks. Just looked clean, and he was mean as shit. And so it's not pure shit, but it's just not like that great either. So it's called the Tax Collector. And anyway,
Tax collector.
yeah. So that's the movie I had. And now, guess what it's time for? Shout out.
Shout outs.
Outs. So
Outs.
and I'm gonna get, because I know you don't really care to give shout outs, right? But you pretty much gave your shout outs.
We both did. We've
We
been
both
shouting
did,
out throughout the
I
whole
have one
segment.
more. I have one more. I want to say to all my Maryland friends that I didn't get to see. Okay. I'll catch y'all next time. Once this COVID shit's over, apparently, it's a bitch. And so is my text messaging, by the way. I couldn't get any texts to go to my friends to let them know I was in town. So that's kind of another reason why I couldn't see you guys. I was only there for like 4 days, and you know, I have a lot of family there. So I apologize, but I'll get to see you next time. My wife fixed the text for me though now too, so you can text me. And if you don't have my number, you know, I guess, you know, we're not that close. but but hit me up on WhatsApp, man. You know, I'm on there as Big Jefe, of course. And anyways, so that's my shout out, and that's gonna do it for us here at Off the Cuff. And join us next week, and maybe we'll have Rob on that time. Who knows? Also, we're gonna have another guest named Alcedo. Al's what he goes by, and he's an old friend of mine. And when he wants to talk about, you know, another version of adulting, bro, like, you know, traveling when you're older, getting your life started, you know, in your 20s or early 20s or whatever you get your life started, and moving to different places and stuff like that. I think that should be cool. And also, the topic next week I want to talk about is people who seem to put more emphasis on work and other things other than family life, which you'll find out what I think about that next time. But until then, you know what it is. Peace.
With
Say it, bro.
Greece in the Middle East.
There you go.
Peace with Jericho Greece in the Middle East.
Later, guys.
Have a great one. I hope you enjoyed our podcast today, and we look forward to being able to bring on some guests and help us to discuss and bring awareness of the different topics that we come up with. Topic that interests me. There is information that goes into consideration with adulting.